This is Chapter 17, Discussion Number 4, Japan's Surrender. Though the Germans were defeated, we have to remember that the United States was single-handedly taking on Japan. At the beginning of World War II, Japan had taken the Philippines, forcing the United States to surrender the islands. The United States had left. Many of the troops were left behind in order to secure the rest of the United States military for leaving, and those captured soldiers were forced on the Bataan Death March as the Japanese marched the captured Americans to concentration camps that they had built in the other parts of the Philippines. The United States strategy ended up in the Pacific to be what was called island hopping. The idea is that not to take every single island that Japan had established a presence, but to get the islands that were deemed important strategically in order to get as close to the Japanese home islands as possible. Douglas MacArthur was the United States commander during World War II in the Pacific, and he was able to lead troops to take back the Philippines, and the Navy, led by Admiral Chester Nimitz, bombarded Japan in a beginning of trying to get Japan to surrender. Japan showed resolve to fight to the extreme end. Kamikaze pilots used their airplanes as missiles against the ships and the military army as they were invading the various islands of the Pacific. The battles to take the island of Iwo Jima and the battle to take Okinawa, as far as total casualties per square mile, were the deadliest pieces of land during World War II. However, as the United States continued to approach the Japanese homeland, they were realizing that it was going to be an extremely difficult idea to take the Japanese islands, considering how fervently they had been defending the rest of the captured islands before. The United States had been secretly developing a new weapon, the atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project had been started in the late 30s as people were seeing that the Germans were developing atomic bomb, and the Americans started doing the same. They had completed it and successfully tested it in New Mexico, and alerted the new president, President Truman, after President FDR had died due to complications from his polio. President Truman was informed that the atom bomb was operational. Truman then decided that they would use the atom bomb on Japan in order to force them to capitulate. On August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb was used against Hiroshima. 70,000 people were killed. 3 days later, after Japan did not surrender, Nagasaki was bombed with an atom bomb, and over 40,000 were killed. August 10th, Emperor Hirohito forced the Japanese military to surrender. It was done. Peace treaty was signed September 2nd, 1945, which is recognized as VJ Day, aboard the USS Missouri. And Japan was defeated and World War II was over. This concludes discussion number 4, Japan's surrender.